We get to talk to none other than Zai as the victor here. Congratulations on a flawless series, Zai.
Thank you.
Okay, I have a question, and I have talked about this. We've talked about this in Lima Major, not you and me, but Blitz at some point said it, and it was talked about on the panel, but we didn't really get the full gist of it. So I would love to hear your side of it, because you're a very intricate part of this as well, because it's about the draft and the drafting pattern that you and Blitz have. And I will tell you what he told me, and I would like if you can fill it in a little bit to try to take away our question marks regarding it, because he said me and Blitz have this synergy me as I have this synergy where Blitz does the first phase bans and you do the first phase picks, and you draft for a specific player and he drafts for a specific player. Can you tell us more about that?
I mean, yeah, we discuss openers together. That's usually the first step of preparing for a team. We look at what they've done before. We look at potential openers and what we think they're going to do. Like, for example, today we knew they're going to first pick Doom and probably invoke Ornate if we go with Splash. So that was kind of, in our plans already. And then, I think he focuses a lot on bans, making sure that we kind of tick all the boxes, that we don't miss any glaring heroes that we shouldn't play against, and that we also protect our own heroes. It's a good synergy. It's working pretty well, and I think we're getting better at it as well. So it's working well.
How do you practice that synergy? Because it's, from my perspective, it's something that I think you're the only team that does it with that type of two minds really working together in tandem like that. How do you practice that? Because that seems very difficult to comes to terms with, and two cooks in the kitchen kind of thing.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think for most of the teams I've been a part of, the drafting process is usually like a shared kind of thing. I think you always try to form some understanding and things to build towards, and a lot of the ideas and stuff that you have is something that you've kind of developed over time as a team. So maybe the way we work is special to us, but I'm sure people have similar relationships with coaches and similar players as well for drafting in general.
And just to clarify, you've been doing that together with Blitz since after TI, right? Because before TI, it was Matu that had a big say in the draft?
Correct. So after TI and after Matu departed, I've been doing it ever since. Yeah.
Do you like it?
It's pretty fun. I mean, it's nice clicking buttons, and I think for now it's working well. So of course, when it's working, it feels good. It is like an added element of responsibility. So you always have to. I mean, you can't be lazy, because then I think things will just fall apart. And I like being lazy, so I'm kind of missing out on that part. But no, I'm enjoying it. It's fun.
Good to hear. I'm here with Purge, Effie, and Jenkins. They'd also like to pick your brain a little bit.
Yeah, one question. You got to last pick both of the last two games. Do you get to feel like you get the perfect hero in those game setups? Obviously, I'm sure you wouldn't plan the draft around making your game better, of course. But do you prefer last picking your hero for obvious reasons?
I tend to be the opposite, to be honest. I'm not a big fan of last picking my hero, because I don't like playing with that pressure, I guess. I think there's different types of offlaners. A lot of them are last pick players, and like some people are better at it than others. I think I've never really considered myself as 24 Viper kind of player, so it's not really my forte. But sometimes when the draft kind of goes in this direction, it's hard not to, and then you kind of just have to do it anyway. But I mean, DK and Underlord are not super abusive heroes, so it's fine.
Okay, and one other question. There's been a lot of sharing of Underlord ultis going in all these games. It seems like if one pops in front of you, the obvious play is to instantly right-click it. Do you think that should be changed in any way, or like what's the mentality like when you have to react to that? Because it just seems like the teamfight gets so weird. The supports go somewhere else, or?
I think it's hilarious. I think this mechanic is like one of the most fun ones in Dota right now. So I would keep it, because it's like, you don't really know what's happening, and it's too chaotic. Like, all of a sudden he goes into the portal. Like, for example, we ganked this Doom on bottom, and Doom just goes in the portal. But all of a sudden we have 3 heroes top as well, and we're killing a Doom on bottom. So it's just like chaotic, but it's it's a lot of fun, and I think this spell is like, I mean, compared to his old ulti, which was just the AoE teleport, that was like probably the most boring spell in Dota history. So I think this one is pretty fun.
Cool.
Hey Zai, congrats on the win. So basically last year it felt like you guys kind of had difficulties finding your place in a new patch or getting an understanding of a patch that was good enough initially, because it felt like every time it came out you guys had a lackluster performance up until TI. So I was wondering if you feel like your team is also in that current state for the patch that's about to drop before Berlin, or if you feel like you guys are going to perform better at the start of a new patch.
I mean, I think it'll be interesting because what's been like the rumors that have been floating around is that this patch is like, you know, massive and it's going to be a big change. So I think it's really hard to predict what it's going to be like. I think we're all gonna, you know, play as much Dota as we possibly can, and you know, we're gonna try our hardest to adapt. But I think we've been, you know, for the current patch, we've been playing this one essentially since TI, and we played like a ton of games on this patch. So I think we're all very, very comfortable with the game as it is now, and I think we're very comfortable playing with each other. So hopefully that part of just, you know, kind of playing together as a team will carry on to the new patch, and then we just have to, you know, discover what's good and what's new in the newer patch and kind of adapt.
So why do you think that it is that it took you guys a bit longer last year to find your footing in this current patch?
I think we were probably struggling for quite some time with figuring out like a certain style. I think last year stylistically there were very strong teams, like OG for example. Last year when they were dominating, I think they had a very specific style. I think similarly to gaming and spirits and all these teams, they had very distinct ways of playing, and I think we kind of tried a multitude of different ones, coming from different teams, obviously meshing like the old Secret Guard and the Team Liquid trio. I think we kind of struggled with finding common ground maybe, but then I think eventually we found it, and I think since we found it, it's been smooth sailing. But I think it took us some time to kind of gel as a squad.
Oh, that's a great answer. So my last question is basically, are you satisfied with the state of drafting right now, first pick and second pick, or would you like to see that changed in the new patch?
I think since the patch has gone on for this long, I think second pick is probably a bit too strong. Because usually on first pick, I think first pick is an advantage because you get like the most broken hero, and you kind of form your lineup around that. But then I think now the patch has been so drawn out so that there's too many heroes. So you're essentially not getting a lot out of the first pick value, I think. And instead second pick gets countered twice in the second phase. So I think second pick is a little bit too strong. I think they should probably switch up the order a little bit. Kind of just for fun, but also because I think second pick is a bit too strong. But I think switching it up a little bit would be nice. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Big Z. What, in your opinion, would you say is the most underrated fictional character?
Underrated fictional character. Jesus.
You can go with
Nick, do you have an answer? Do you have an answer for me? What's an underrated fictional character? Fictional character. I don't know. My teammates are the weebs. I'm not quite sure. My grasp on fictional characters is a bit so-so.
What about overrated fictional character then, if you're not a weeb?
Overrated. Let's just say Sasuke. I don't like that guy.
Okay. Effie?
That guy sucks. Yeah, Sasuke's a little bitch.
All right.
Sounds good.
I got one more Dota-related question before we let you go, Zai. You just said that you think second pick is a little bit better right now. Then why aren't you choosing it?
They had it, didn't they?
Yeah, but yesterday they went to series and they had priority and they did it before. They go for Dire instead of second pick.
Sometimes it's like, it's a bit weird to pick. For example, this game or this series was nice because we didn't have choice the first one, and they chose first pick, and then it's kind of nice because I feel like choosing the first game is you have to be really sure of your plan, sort of, and it's a bit of a gamble. And in some of those scenarios where like, because you make plans for both first pick and second pick, but you don't feel strongly about either one, then we usually go for Dar. It's like we have plans for both sides, but we don't really feel like second pick opener is better or first pick opener is better, and then we usually just go Dar. But then in the group stage and stuff like that, we played so many matches, so we also try to make sure that we get like equal games in on first pick and second pick, and also to some extent Dire and Radiant. So we kind of just been using it as a way to get practice in on all angles. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that answer. And I lied. I have one actual more question. This is a very different format from like you've played a lot of tournaments over your career. This is a very different format than most of the tournaments you've played. I believe this is the first one that does it like this. What do you think of it with like the two group stages into a small playoff bracket?
I mean, I like playing Dota, and I like playing matches. And now we have matches pretty much every day. I think the only complaint I have about the format is that currently the early match is it comes with a little bit of a early morning debuff for a lot of teams, including ours. So that's a bit so-so. But now we're done with all our early morning games, so it's all good. But I like playing Dota, and having a lot of matches is fun. We're also just watching Dota all the time. So you play your game and then you watch all the other games, and it's just fun, having a good time. So I like it.
All right, glad to hear. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. Appreciate it. Of course, good luck in your matches tomorrow.